right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a massive, ground-shaking shift in how the internet works. The search landscape has changed more in just the last 18 months than it did in the previous 10 years. And honestly, for any of you strategists out there, if you're not paying super close attention, you're already falling behind. So let's just dive right into the data that proves it. I want to kick things off with just one number. That's it. One number that really explains everything that's going on. -32%. Just let that sink in for a minute. Yep, you heard that right. That coveted number one spot, the one businesses and SEO strategists have been fighting tooth and nail over for years, it's lost a third of its value, practically overnight. And you know what? Position 2 got hit even harder with a crazy 39% drop. And this quote just nails it. This isn't some small course correction. This is a seismic event. You know that slow, predictable way search used to evolve? The thing we all got kind of comfortable with? Yeah, that's over. We are now officially in an era of rapid, disruptive change, and it's all being driven by AI. So what's behind this click crash, right? Where did all the traffic go? Well, it's the rise of this incredibly powerful new AI gatekeeper that's basically just wedged itself right between you and your audience. The old model was so simple, wasn't it? You rank, you get the click. Easy. But now, these AI intermediaries are the new front door. They're the ones answering questions directly, and they're the ones deciding which sources, if any, are going to get that traffic. The fundamental rules of the game have completely changed, which means our strategies have to change with them. Period. Okay, so to really navigate this new world, you have to understand the battlefield. And right now, inside Google, there's basically a civil war happening with its own AI. Let's take a look at what that really means for your strategy. All right, listen up because this is probably the single most critical thing you need to get your head around. Google is running two totally different AI systems at once, AI overviews and what's called AI mode. And trust me, they are not the same thing. One is just volatile and chaotic. The other is stable and, well, strategic. So this table here really breaks down the differences, and they are huge. AI overviews pull from like 20 different sources, and those sources are changing constantly. We're talking a 30, that's 30, times higher churn rate. But AI mode, it's much more stable, more like a conversation, and it uses just 5 to 7 sources that it tends to stick with. Understanding this distinction is everything. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. This slide shows a massive opportunity. In those chaotic AI overviews, a brand only shows up about 43% of the time. Getting featured there, it's like buying a lottery ticket. But then you look at the stable conversational AI mode. A whopping 90% of those responses feature a brand. You see where the real opportunity is now, right? One is a total gamble. The other is a genuine brand-centric discovery engine. Okay, so now that we know all this, what do we do about it? How do we adapt? Well, that brings us to the new playbook. And we're not just talking about SEO anymore. We're talking about a whole new discipline. GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO. This is the strategy for winning in an AI-first world. And I need to be super clear about this. We're not talking about a few small tweaks. This isn't about changing a few title tags or keywords here and there. This is about completely re-architecting our entire approach to search and visibility, right from the ground up. So, this new mandate, this new playbook, it's built on 4 main pillars. First, you've got to start optimizing for AI as a super user. That means making your content perfectly machine readable. Second, brand mentions are the new currency for authority. Third, and this is the biggest mindset shift of all, your goal isn't just to get a click anymore, it's to be the answer. And finally, you have to strategically govern how AI models get to access your data. And this slide just perfectly illustrates that mental shift you need to make. The old goal? Get that number 1 blue link. The new goal? You need to be the trusted entity that the AI itself recommends. Think about it this way. The old Google was like the yellow pages. The new Google is like a helpful store clerk giving you a direct recommendation. Your job is to make sure your brand is that recommendation. Okay, so if the whole game has changed this dramatically, it only makes sense that the way we keep score has to change too, right? Sticking with the old metrics now is, well, it's dangerously misleading. Those traditional metrics we've all relied on for years, keyword rankings, organic traffic, they just don't paint the full picture anymore. I mean, think about it. Chasing website traffic as your main KPI, that has to be rethought when zero-click search is the new normal for a ton of questions. So your new dashboard, your new set of KPIs, it needs to look a lot more like this. We're now tracking stuff like our AI mode inclusion percentage. We're watching brand mention velocity. And my favorite, agentic engagement. That's really just a fancy way of asking, hey, did an AI actually use our data to do something useful? This is how you measure what really matters now. And when you start tracking these new metrics, the real truth comes out. Anyone telling you SEO is dead is just completely missing the point. It hasn't died, it has evolved. It's become so much more complex, so much more strategic than it ever was before. We're not just optimizing for a search engine anymore, we're optimizing for a whole ecosystem of AI agents. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about, and I want you to forget about ranking number one for just a second. In this new world where AI gives the answers directly, is your brand actually part of the conversation? Because if you're not just losing a click anymore, you're on the fast track to becoming completely invisible.